How you doing? This is the guy from Pittsburgh, and one of the things that bugs me before I talk about what I'm going to talk about is somebody on Gabcast who said they don't like my music before I start the video, and I sit there staring at the screen. Well, they got musical themes. They talk, this is the Gabcast, and so-and-so and so-and-so. Of course, they're not running through their computer speaker like I am, because I don't have a mixer board or soundboard or an announcer. I got the shoestring radio theater here, and the ever popular and lovely box fan radio theater. At all times there's a box fan. So I think that's kind of unfair. But anyway, I did the video earlier on Mickey and Minnie, my beloved cats. And I'm going to do another one here. And take it from there. Well, my first cats were little Siamese Squirt Squirt and 3 other cats. But Squirt Squirt was the only one of the original 4 that got pregnant. And she had her first litter, and it was kind of unusual. She had 1 cat. And that cat was a little tiny baby cat. And I had 2 mama cats. I had her and another cat I had rescued later on, years later. And both cats made me lie down the hallway, and they had their babies in my arms. Well, Squirt Squirt had 2 litters, and the later cat had a litter of 4. And I miss those cats very much because I gave them all away. Well, Squirt Squirt, the little Siamese, beautiful little, very tiny. She was only like that big, full grown, brown and kind of a off gold seal point Siamese with little boots on her paws, very long fur. She had her baby, 1 baby, a little tiny black kitten. And I had problems with Squirt Squirt. She would not attend to the kitten. I had to put her in the hall closet and close the door and to take care of baby. Well, when the baby was born, I picked it up in my hand and I was trying to decide a name for it. Because when I was younger, I only had a dog. I never had cats before. And I'm very big into history and the history of entertainment and comedy. And I'm thinking, what am I going to call this kitten? Then it occurred to me. I said, you're tiny, and you're very cute, and you're little. And it was mewing away, a little teensy mew. Couldn't see, of course, being newborn. Squirt Squirt washed it off and cleaned it and gave it nuzzling. So I said, you are my Baby Snooks. Now, Baby Snooks was a character on radio and in films created by Fanny Brice, very famous Jewish comedian at the time. If you ever watched the movie Funny Girl with Barbara Streisand, that's Fanny Brice's life. And Baby Snooks was a little girl character with a short skirt and blonde pigtails, and was very precocious and somewhat of a stinker, and would have question and answer sessions with W.C. Fields and Fred Allen and other famous people of the day. So I named her Baby Snooks, Snookie for short. Well, I had been growing a full beard then, and Snookie decided to crawl out of the closet. Squirt Squirt went in the kitchen to eat. And I was lying on the bed in the living room. We lived in a small studio apartment in San Francisco, my girlfriend and I, the current girlfriend. And Snookie decided that he would crawl down the hallway to see what was going on. Now, I couldn't see, but I guess he went looking for Mama or for me, because he would meow and squeak, mew and squeak when I patted him and held him in my hand. And he got to the bed and he decided to climb up the quilt on the bed, and then climbed up the blanket and went up my body and went under my beard and went to sleep. Well, in the meantime, Squirt Squirt, being at times very motherly and other times would ignore the baby, and I had to keep putting her in the closet and go see baby. She comes out of the kitchen and ow, 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 very indignantly, "Where is my baby? What have you done with the baby?" And I said, "Squirt Squirt, I haven't done any of your baby. He's right here." So she got up on the bed, indignantly meowed at me. Now, she loved me very much. I loved her. And she took the baby in her mouth and put the baby back in the closet and lied there and let it nurse on her and cuddle a mama. Well, after about a week, Snookie opened his eyes, and from that point on was my kitty. He would follow me around the house. He would ride on my shoulder. He would climb the length of my body. He was tiny enough to fit in my shirt pocket. And he would sleep on the pillow above my head like several other kitties have done. In fact, my girlfriend is obsessed with the movie Alien, to the point where I'm sick about it. I'm tired of hearing about it. But I took her to Alien when it opened up, the original Alien movie. That's got to be 30 years or so ago. And that movie scared the hell out of me. So I got home and was still kind of shaking. Most movies don't affect me, but that did. Drank a shot of booze and went to bed, went to sleep. Well, during the night, Snookie, by this time, he's like, I don't know, 3-4 months old, liked to sleep on my pillow above my head. About 3 in the morning, I feel this black tendril coming down my face, or what I thought was a black tendril. I'm not awake yet. I get awakened with this thing going down my face, and it starts going down my nose. And when it hits my mouth, it got into my mouth, and I woke up and started screaming, "The aliens got me, the aliens got me." At which point, little Snookie freaked out and started doing a little dance in my face. So that was my encounter with Alien in the middle of the night, the alien kitty. Well, Snookie, for years later, when I moved to Sacramento, followed me everywhere. One time, I had to go take the Greyhound to go visit my mother in San Francisco, and he followed me 6 blocks all the way down to the Greyhound station. And my current kitties will follow me to the liquor store here when I go get some food or some Hennessy or play the lotto or get Snapple or some orange juice. I'm trying to lay off the junk food as much as I can. And I have go home kitties, so I have 3 kitties following me to the liquor store. So I had to call and say, "Come get the cat. He's trying to go with me on the Greyhound." So she would go down to Greyhound. This is 5:30 in the morning, and pick the cat up and take him home. So I got very attached to Snookie. And then in 1996, I, through no fault of my own, became homeless. The landlord, there's a guy, he owns about 200 apartment buildings in the Bay Area, has a diamond symbol like this on each sign. And he decided, no, wait a minute, that wasn't it. I'm sorry, wrong story. I was living in Oakland, and we had contrails that year, chemtrails actually, crisscrossing the skies about Lake Merritt, and they were everywhere. Must have been 100 of them, 150 of them. It was not normal jet trails. And I'm walking up the hill from work, and this substance comes down from the sky. I'll get to what I was talking about in a second. It looked like spiderweb material, and I touched it, and it disappeared in my hand, hit the bushes in front of my apartment, covered everything. There was a huge amount coming down from the sky. It looked like, gray tinsel. And after a few seconds, it disappeared. So this was on a Friday, and I wake up Monday morning with 104 fever and pneumonia. Never went back to work. And then later on in the year, I had to help my mother out when she became ill. Spent 30 days away from my home, and didn't go home except to feed the cats in my car and go right back to her apartment, and didn't pay the rent, and I got evicted. So Snookie and my other cat wound up living me in the car, Baby Mouse, and my black cat that I rescued from the BART station at 14th Street. He was eating a leaf, and he was a beautiful all-black cat, very gentle, very sweet. Kathy loved him and adored him. And I carried him home inside my jacket, and he didn't hop out something like 10 blocks home from BART till he got to my doorway of the building, and then he hopped out, and I had to grab him and brought him upstairs. So I became homeless, and I moved to Santa Rosa, and I was staying at someone's condo for a while and helping her out with the bills. I was sleeping on the floor. When I built a little house outside, she was allergic to cats, so I couldn't bring my kitties inside. And I built them a little house out of boards and plastic sheeting and milk crates, and they were sleeping in there. And they were quite dry and warm. They had little bedding and all that. And when I was in the car, they would be sleeping in the back seat, and their cat box would be there. And I had a carrier on top of the car, and all my clothes in it and towels, and it was clean and all that. It wasn't asking people for money on the streets or anything like that, with signs. And I slept in the front seat, and I would turn on the heater at night. And that year it was very rainy in Santa Rosa, and for the period of time after she lost her condo, I wound up living in my car in San Francisco and getting sick. I got sick with pneumonia again. But before I wound up, between the time in April that she lost her condo, on my birthday, April 28th, she was going to be evicted because she could no longer pay her payments on her condo. Well, my beloved Snookie developed cancer. He had a lump on his back from a injection for rabies that a vet gave, and I asked the vet why with this lump, and he said that's normal. And turns out there's a thing you get from aluminum in this shot, and certain cats develop cancer from that, and they get a tumor. So I took him to the SPCA, and they said there was no hope for him, but they kept him there to watch him in his last hours, and he was always a chow-hound. He would eat his wet food and everybody else's wet food, Mouse's wet food. And I forgot I had another cat named Boop, and I gave that cat away to somebody. So Snookie died, and they said the last thing he did was ate the whole bowl of wet food, a whole can, and then keeled over and died. Well, one of the things he did before he died, he liked to come up to me, and he would nuzzle me, and he would bite my chin really, really hard. So on Friday before the 28th, he was born in my arms at 5:30 in the morning on my birthday. Birthday kitty. And I'm lying on the floor in my sleeping bag and my blankets, and I've got the heater going on full blast in the living room. And Mouse is outside. Snookie's gone at this point. And all of a sudden, I wake up. The room gets ice cold like it was in a freezer. I mean, it felt like it was about 30 degrees. And the wall heater, it's one of these wall heaters that looks like it's got a grill, and you can see the pilot light on the bottom. That thing's turned up high. And yet you couldn't feel the heat. All you felt was this huge wave of cold air. It felt oppressive. And then I felt this weight on my chest. And, I'd been sound asleep, so I reached out without thinking. I took my hand and I went like this, and I could feel the outline of a head, a furry head, and the body and the tail, and I could feel the legs. And then suddenly the head of the ghost kitty nuzzled my face and bit me really hard. And I yelled Snookie, and it disappeared. All that was on me was, on my shirt I was wearing, the little 4 imprints of 4 little cat feet. So that was Snookie coming back from the grave, telling me that he was all right the weekend of my birthday. So that's the second cat experience I've had where the kitty comes back. This is why I believe firmly that the animals will be with us when we die, and they go to heaven and we go to heaven. There's something beyond the grave, and they have a bond to us that doesn't break just because they die, or if we predecease them. We have that bond when they're left behind. They know, and they want to send us a sign that they're all right and that they love us. All right. I would have done this earlier, but I went in the living room waiting for someone to call me, and I fell asleep. And these long videos take forever to process on YouTube. They don't take that long to upload, but they can take up to an hour. So I'll be back when this is done with another video. I have to go down and feed the outdoor kitties and get some coffee into me and have something to eat. So hello to Bell Gabbers and Justin and little Chris and Area 51 drone and my friend who called Kathy to get me to the hospital. I'm incredibly grateful for that. And going to see about watching some football because I slept through God knows how much of the football game tonight. And I'll be back. So please donate to my PayPal account at http www.theguyfrompittsburgh.boardhost.com, and I will catch you next time. And free Art Bell. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.